3 critical things that if you ignore, this campaign will go from being one of the most powerful half campaigns to being an absolute cluster. And I can say that because this was by far the most requested video I've had for a while, and I can see why. If you think that Eltharion has got a ton harder in Immortal Empires, you're not crazy, you are 100% right. This is still a very strong faction, but man, there's so much more challenge and complexity to its start, and I've boiled this down to 3 simple tips that across these early turns, we're currently turn 16 in a good spot. If you follow these, you'll get yourself a good start. We want defensive alliances with both of these guys, so every war down there will bring us closer to a confederation here. Again, you always want to attack Saphery and be friends with Eltharion, and by taking Saphery's lands, this stops both Eltharion and Tyrion from expanding further, so that helps out there. Tip number 1 is to restore order with your borders. That's a terrible rhyme, I hate myself for saying it, but what we need to understand here is 2 things. We need to make sure that the Ordertide factions have control here. This also will include the Tomb Kings for this example, but you need to have borders that you can hold. Don't keep expanding this way. Bad idea, right? You want to stay near the border where you're going to have some advantage. So you're going to start around here. You want to take the southern Badlands, you'll want the western Badlands, and your bottom border here will be the Barrier Idols. Now, why is that? Well, let's look at the walled settlements, right? We need to defend this. Well, down here, we can be friendly with Bretonnia, we can be friendly with the Tomb Kings, so no hostilities here, plus we don't want to hold these, but holding this capital, this will make a great eastern border by taking Death Gorge, as well as we can eliminate Scarbrand. Taking this, we have capital, capital, another capital, and we'll just wall this one up here, and this will form our border, and then we can start taking the fight to Scrag the Slaughterer, and then taking this side here, eventually looking to unite our kingdom with Ulthuan. Alright, turn 1, let's just do the research quickly. We want archery prowess. As soon as that's finished, go for spear wall and militia training. That'll also help unlock invocation of all just a little bit quicker, and we're going to put Cavill into his army and attack Gronti Mingol. Out on the battlefield, we're just setting up. We've got our catapult down here, always on the scatter shot, aiming just straight down there, so you can still use your artillery. You just have to be a little bit more craftier than you used to. We're also going to have a sacrificial unit of Silver and Guard, and then just focus down the enemy units. We're going to disband these guys after this turn. We just don't have the money. Love Silver and Guard, but we just don't have the money for 2 units. So you can cheese these battles. I'm just fighting them to the army losses just for a bit of fun, but yeah, just make sure that one of these Silver and Guard takes the bulk of the damage, and once the battle's over, just heal everyone up. Always occupy, do not do any looting. We want to avoid all the public order hiccups that we can, and you will maintain control in Yvresse, because you'll see that basically it doesn't make a difference the fact we have Eltharion down here. We just need to learn how to manage our diplomacy and our funds correctly. So maintain control gives you a ton of influence to also manage your diplomacy. And for Eltharion, critical tip number 2, always prioritize movement. Okay, we're not going to get any spells at all for now. We're going to go through Root Marcher, Wary to get some ambush defense, 3 points in Quartermaster to lower our costs. We're managing multiple armies, and then Renown and Feared for that extra 5% campaign movement. Once you can, unlock his personal tree, and Unyielding March is your next top priority, giving you another 10%. Also, after battling a few times, you'll get another, because you've still got Yvresse as your capital, you'll get another trait which gives you another 10% campaign movement. All of this is essential, and you'll need this to make some of your late game moves. Please trust me on this. Now, because we're low on cost, we'll need to combine 2 of these Silver and Guard over. We have 2 elite line holders here, a couple of secondary ones, so now all we need is some archers. Okay, going over to Ulthuan, and we have our first battle to be had. First step here, we are going to use all of that amazing influence we just procured to find ourselves a fire mage. You can use another type of mage if you want, but I will just go fire. Anything also with the incendiary trait will be very, very effective. My personal choice is just get a fire mage with a 15 influence ability, something like this, 10% movement. It's not that important, okay? Your influence can be used better on nobles later on when you can get them. And this is a tough fight whichever way you cut it. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps out. Ask any question in the comments. I answer everything. And if you'd like to talk strategy, feel free to join the Discord. Cheers. And here we are on the battlefield. We're going to castle up in this far corner. We start here. We're going to basically lure them back, and the idea is to exhaust their forces before they get close. To try to avoid the woods, I don't know why it is. They seem to get scared off when you go in there. Maybe they're worried about being ambushed. Don't know why they're waiting like that, but I'll just fire a side on fireball. Yep. Now the rest of the army's probably coming. Alright, I'm going to move this way to try and push them off the map. Get off the map, get off the map, get off the map, get off the... Yes! Alright, that's 1 unit routed. So we go, see if we can clear out a few more. Yeah, isn't bad, not bad. Alright, we're going to inflate their melee defense because they're the ones that are holding this all together. Got to push them back and stop them firing because they're actually what's really doing the damage here. Oh man, we lost a lot of archers. That's possibly going to cost us. Get to position, we can absolutely shred these guys. Okay, there's the boss. Alright, I'm going to chase these guys off the map. So just keep pushing them and make sure they get off the map. We do not want them coming back. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put these guys away, put them away in one fell charge. Alright, so we need to stay still. So we're going to increase these guys' melee defense so they can hold out a little bit longer. They have 74 melee defense as long as they stay above a quarter health. Cool, they're just tied. Alright, this might be our last chance. Alright, here we go, guys. So, charging in. Warden's Cage. Alright. Come on. And, victory, ransom captives, and that guy will always die at the end of the fight, no matter what you do. If you can manage to capture him, go for this first. Get the level 2 interrogation chambers, so you get an extra 200 experience, and then you can off them. Now, your army will not be able to take that settlement this turn, but the whole point was to remove that army so you don't have to fight them at home. So what we'll do is get 2 more archers, and in terms of her leveling, go straight for Burning Head. That is your force multiplier. Now, in terms of construction, if this was just defensive, I would actually hire 2 Illyrian Reavers. They're very, very versatile, but we don't have the money. This is a very, very bare bones economy just for now, so we're going to trash that this turn. For economy, we want to trade with Korthig, but also with Krace. Every bit of money does help. And there we are. End turn. Turn 2. With that army out of the way, you will have no problem taking out Tralinia. Alright, starting the battle here in barcode formation, and here we are moving up. Turning fire at will off because we are only targeting archers and orcs, as well as these wolf riders. There's the archers. Let's target them. Infantry up the front. Right, so stop shooting when you think that the quality of shot is just going to really fall away. As long as they're running away, I don't mind taking shots into their rear. As you can see, that really hurts them. Okay, let's see if we can just make them a little bit tougher. Hold out a bit longer, guys. Come on. Alright, once you take the town centre, all the towers go down. So that is another rather difficult battle. Again, you can auto-resolve your way through it and basically take no losses if you're on the early difficulties. Make sure you give her Burning Head and you're ready to take on anything. And we're going to use the Growth Edict. Going over to the Badlands, and we have Eltharion himself, and we're able to move. We could move all the way down here, but you want him just before this bridge, and you'll see that's still considered our own territory. Drop him there and hire yourself 2 more archers. Turn 3, and the Bloody Hands pretty much always get their first confederation around this time, and that's okay. But you will potentially lose this settlement here, but the good thing is you don't lose much, right? Because it starts off with the 2 slots because it's got the port. So if you have to retake it, it's not the end of the world. Now we're going to go and take our capital here at Galbaraz, and on the battlefield we're going to actually set up in the middle of this area here just to avoid the line of sight till, and we're going to move our army up and try to remain out of their line of sight. So don't bother shooting down the towers, just capture it. You'll be able to push them off, so use your ammo again, taking out their units rather than the fortifications themselves. And these guys can heal. Remember, you've got Apotheosis, so you can just pretty much tank with these guys. Just take one of the capture points, and there you go. Cool, and again, we're just kind of blasé moving through these, showing you a worst case scenario that you can always do better than. So we're going to get just 2 archers there. Replenish most of what we can that turn. This building will always have a barracks. You do not need that, so trash that. Moving up to Northern Yvresse, do not build any upgrades there. You do not have the money for that. And you want to be marching on your way towards LSE. Hire yourself 2 more archers. And now for diplomacy, we are going to do something which you probably wouldn't expect, and that is to actually go to the harbingers of disaster, and we are going to improve relations with them. So because this is on an upwards trend, it does slightly decrease their chance of hostility. It's pretty bad anyway. They will attack us in the next few turns. The thing is, we want to buy ourselves a little bit of time. And also what this does is this makes sure that they don't get too chummy with these guys. Before we did this, this would have been steadily improving. Now it is going negative. So at least there is a chance they will declare war on these guys, giving them something else to worry about. Usually the gifts are quite cheap. We'll even give him a gift. This probably won't amount to anything. I'm telling you, he will attack us, but hopefully it's somewhere around turn 10 when we're a bit more in a position to deal with it. So I always do this. I just give him 2 gifts, 1 lot of influence, and so far it's bought me enough time that he hasn't attacked me too early. Okay, turn 4. Let's start off by building a entertainment building here to help slow that public order decline. So we're not attacking them yet. We'll come back up, and what we're doing first is we're going to secure our southern flank here and make some good relations with the Tomb Kings. Let's check out their balance of power. It's roughly even to us, but that means they have 2 armies and we don't know where they are. And here's the daring part here. We're going to move up in force march. Okay, what this might do is it might bring one of their armies out to battle. There we are. Okay, so we see we've got 2 armies here. It's just a minor faction. We can handle both of those armies. So going over to Ulthuan. We're now moving up to the very border of our territory, which is just here. And finally hiring. We'll hop in a camp stance. You need at least 2 spearmen, so get 2 spears. Now it's either this turn or next turn you can typically start making friends with Eltharion. Let's do it, and she of course is worth that little bit of gold to get that relationship tracking forward. Turn 5, and this is a very important turn, possibly the most important turn. So what we'll do is we'll move our Loremaster of Hoth up just to uncover them, see what we have to deal with. Okay, those we can deal with them. So that's going to be 20 versus our 14. That's going to be one hell of a fight. What we need to do first is move up. There's nowhere here to get a good ambush, so about there, hop into ambush stance, rejoin your Loremaster, and that's the first step. Now, this is the third and most critical part of the entire run. Right now, we've got a banged up army. You should probably have about 2 more units more than this with this army if you haven't taken attrition, if you're playing on the easy difficulties. What you would think is that you need to go and take that now. The problem is, if you besiege it, they will reinforce it with this army, and that is the jank, right? What we're going to do instead is, man, it's going to be a hard fight. We're going to run straight past it in force march, and this will lure them out to try and take us on in the field, and we can fight them and defeat them there, okay? It's going to be tight in turn. Here we are on the battlefield, and we'll be deploying far to one side, of course, with our mage up front to deal some burning heads, and if you lose your mage, you may as well just restart the fight. You have no chance without her. This burning head is what we will live and die by here, so let's move her up. So taking out their archers will really, really help you if you can. If you get a chance to take them both out, it'll really help. Fuck, would have liked a bit more there. There we go. Use the cage on him and away he'll go. Alright, there we go. That should demoralize them at least enough to buy us some time. Alright, so that 1 unit of spearmen there does a really good job of holding the line against all of these guys. And guys, do not show any mercy. Rout every last one that you can, because you're fighting these guys next turn. You'll need to replenish as well because you're in hostile grounds. You'll need all the help you can get. And here's the other battle we were expecting. And here we are on the battlefield. We are going to deploy right on the line here. Spears on the flanks, heroes up front. And we're just going to have to move ourselves up, and hopefully we can use this to protect our flank. Let's take out these flanking units first. Really could use that Warden's Cage right about now. Woo, okay, Pyrrhic victory. We need all the troops we can get. Cool, okay, so we have the quest to get the talisman. Now, this is something we will do. Cool, we got ourselves a captive. Interrogate. Gives us some experience, and then execute. We have our mage here. She's a bit banged up, and we need to take Oh, that's going to be tough to do. We are just not getting a break from hard fights today, guys. They are all really, really tough. Again, if you started with less casualties, they'll be easier for you. And on the battlefield, this looks like the best way to go in there. Their main point here, which will collapse their towers. Pretty straight view, not a lot of obstruction. Doing really well with ammo, thanks to Burning Head doing most of the heavy lifting for us. We'll keep shooting them till they shatter. Sadly we lost one, but that's okay. Occupying as usual. Now, the reason why we take this one, because you might be wondering, well, if you had the troops and if you could take that, why wouldn't you? Well, first of all, it's going to be a pretty hard fight. On easy, you can almost certainly take that with an auto-resolve, but I'm planning this as well because the other advantage is we stop Etain from expanding in here and taking them, and this also gives us a really good springboard. Hire yourself another... We actually need spears more than anything else, so we're going to hire ourselves 2 spearmen. Now for Eltharion. Try to pull this guy out of the garrison, of course. We want as few units inside that garrison as possible. Here we are on the battlefield, and we're going to be at the very, very front here because we need to use our advantage to kill this first army before the others come in, because we will get overrun. And if you think getting beat up by normal orcs sucks, getting beat up by savage orcs sucks even more. Okay, let's take out these archers. And we'll use our catapult to attack these big clusters right there. Let's use some area of effect magic, doing the same thing. Multiple victories far away from home, another 10% campaign movement. These are all the accolades you need. In Stormhenge, just get a growth building. Like I said, we want to fast track Galbaraz up to tier 3. It might have to do some fending off, but ultimately this is really the only settlement that gets into much danger at all. We have a light mage, let's go with primed. Recruit, of course garrison her safely away. And hire yourself a couple of archers because we've got a defense coming very, very soon. Well, as predicted, so if your army is a bit weaker like mine is, they will come out and jump over the strait onto Ulthuan itself and attack you. Let's do it on the field. Let's pull back to protect our flank with this rock formation here, and we're going to send our mage up ahead to drop some burning head. Start of turn 8, and this shows why we didn't raise this unit a bit earlier, but we're about to get an absolute ton more money, and it's thanks to doing this. We want to move all the way up to the border there where the road is perfectly. It still counts as our territory, as you can see through replenishment, and now we are going to do our quest battle. Note to yourselves, do not capture their lord, the game will crash and you'll have to do the fight again, so don't do that. So we're going to use the cage, but we're not going to kill him. I know it sounds weird. And they'll just kind of herd down here, you'll be alright. Cool, we started unlocking Regiments of Renown. Now with these points, this is very, very careful, right? So there we go. Lightning Strike to Fear and Renown, that's another 5%. Storm of Blades, Unyielding March, plus 30%. So we'll hire another 2 Rangers. It's going to push our upkeep a little bit to heavy side, but that's okay. This is all just to play it safe. Just while we're down south, even though this is putting even more burden on our treasury, you want a couple more archers here because, like I said, this is going to get attacked, and this will also hopefully dissuade Scrag the Slaughterer from attacking you. And it would be a good investment to give 6 right there to Avalon, and that will just help fast track the defensive alliance. Checking the quick deals if anyone wants to trade. Again, be careful with who people are at war at. For example here, this guy's offering us military access, but he's at war with our neighbors. Probably a bad idea, just let them sort that out. Stay out of it. However, one Tomb King we do want to speak to is Cetra. Just sign that non-aggression pact with Khemri first, because so your bottom neighbors will be Khemri and Bretonnia at one way or another. Back in Donut Land, we're going to send our mage over the straits, and we are now really, really rocking here. Alright, let's take the captives on board to replenish our forces. Let's just auto-resolve that. Cool. Now you don't need to do this, but you can get Invocation of Assyrian, which I'm going to because this will help stay. So Nakari will usually declare war on you at some point, and it's not really much of a deal. It's just because you're trading with Krace. And as promised, around this time he will attack you. Oh, he's at war with the Border Princes. That's interesting, but I knew he would attack us. He always does. Now the bank account keeps going up and down. It's because we're raising more armies, but we're about to get even more treasury. We'll have to besiege for a single turn, unfortunately, but there's nothing else we can do. In the capital, increase it to tier 3. And in the Badlands, I think we can hold on to this, and I'm going to, because it'll make the garrison a little bit tougher, and they'll be white soon enough, so let's give that a go. Down here, we can now reach and attack. That's an easy auto-resolve. Lost a few units, but we'll be bunking up here, so no problem. So once again, just occupy. We're not after any revolts. So now this means we have Khorne on our doorstep, as well as Malegor, and he will declare war very soon. So we need to kind of get him before he gets us, because trust me, he's coming. So the next couple of turns, we are going to take him down before he takes us. At this point, there's no point gifting, no point nothing. He just hates us. We want Cetra to survive, so even though we're paying a lot for that trade deal, that's money that he can use. So here you go, Cetra. We do want him to remain strong, and he'll hopefully be able to hold on to this. So even if I took that, I'd probably just give it straight over to Cetra. Now over here, let's hire just another 2 archers, because look at this, he's definitely coming. We've got 2 turns till he reaches us. So between our garrison there, always hire archers in a situation like this, because the settlement already comes with plenty of really good line holders. Turn 10, Krace is destroyed, so Nakari is coming like it or not. This army is also coming like it or not, and it is one hell of an army, so that's definitely coming here next turn. Whilst we will still hire those, we can also hire some regiments of renown, so we're actually going to do that, and if we can destroy his army using this army, we're going to be in a really, really great position. So in terms of Eltharion, he's moving up, and you won't be able to reach that. Move up and assume ambush stance right near the border. Build a growth building in Galbaraz. Again, we need that fast track to get that juicy oath gold mine to get that extra 1,000 per turn. And up in Ulthuan, we can now finish our conquest of the Greenskins. Let's do it. You guys know the drill about now. And we finally secured southern Yvresse, so make sure you put a growth edict on there. Hire a couple of Malay troops to replace the ones you lost, and you know, a stack of probably up to 15 is the most you would need. And right on cue, here we are. Oh, 2 armies. Okay, so the good thing is that we have a really great settlement here. There's a single supply point here in the middle, and that controls 3 different towers. One there, and one there. So the idea is we are completely surrounded, that much is true, but we can try to bunker down here. We've got our horses out there. We're going to try to use our Illyrian Reavers to harass them and basically try to get them to follow us through here. So we have 1 sustained input here. I've got groups here, 3, 4, and 5, and everyone really closely positioned to guard each of the... Let's do it. Turn 11, we've managed to defeat the army, and I've just chased down and routed both of those. Also, Malegor has finally declared war, just as we knew he would. Anywhere between, usually about turn... I haven't seen turn 9 yet, but I wouldn't discount that. But I'd say turn 10 to turn 12, it's going to happen. And we'll just auto-resolve, and we'll just occupy that like normal. We're likely to lose this, so we're not going to build anything there. We can level up Gronti Mingol. It's now safe, and we've destroyed those armies. We're going to now march up to the Dragonhorn Mines. Let's get ourselves another couple of archers, just to be sure. We can now ask for a... We've got non-aggression. We've now got military access. If you have to pay for military access, just get it. It's absolutely worth it. So usually Ilaria will take this northern province. I've not seen her not take that so far, but we have enough time to take both of these before she gets there. In most cases, all of their military is completely expired, so we don't need to hire anymore. We can upgrade one of these, and we're going to go for Gorgazan because it's in this corner here. Scarbrand has a high chance of taking this, plus they're going to revolt soon enough. We'll need to make some emergency action there one way or another. We've also got some decisions to make here. Now, you have the choice. You could either send Eltharion up here and focus on the Western Badlands here, but because you were able to defend this with her, what we can do is push through with her and then try to take this. So it all depends on if you're able to destroy both of Wurzaag's armies. There's a chance he'll have one army up here doing its own thing, which means that you're really limited in using a weak army here. So you might need to send both armies up here to deal with this and just try to reinforce this frontier here, and then Eltharion himself to secure this border by destroying Scarbrand. We can do them all. Let's do it and turn. Turn 12, let the war on Saphery begin. We would love to join your war on Saphery, and give me whatever you can, whatever agreements you're willing to. Cool. And as usual, we'll be occupying and not trashing the place, despite us being a bit short on funds. We've only got one more settlement we really need to take urgently, and that is their capital, and we should get there first. And down here we now have the chance to expand out with Eltharion, and we absolutely will. This is a balls to the wall run, and we're going to do it. So he's only got one army there, but keep in mind we've got 3 armies, so that small little dent there, he's stronger than he looks, okay? So what we can do is we can move up here onto the frontier. We'll have 2 more spears, we need infantry. Let's double check Scarbrand. So he has 3 settlements. He has 1, 2, it's the capital there, and that is also a walled capital, so that also poses a threat to us. We are going to have public order issues here, guys, but at least we can contain them to the capital if we take that first. So that's our next stop. In every other run I've done, he's been south. He got me. Fuck. Oh boy. God damn, giants, we are really outmatched here. We actually walked away with a fair bit. Turn 13, usually he comes down this way. He came that way, probably because we had this vulnerable army up there. So we've got no choice, we're going to run her back to Gronti Mingol. Let's keep on our offense here. Who is at war? No one that we really want to be friends with.
Leave none alive.
Oh god damn, this got complicated really quickly. Hopefully he attacks us after this end turn and we can take out all 3 of his stacks here. I really should play this out, but I can't be bothered. Here we are. Heading back to Ulthuan, we now can finish off Saphery. Alright, let's pull them out of this garrison and besiege them. No worries. Cool, and we won in time, so we'll end the battle and we capture them. So not a problem. So we are going to besiege the White Tower of Hoeth, build ourselves some siege weapons, and we'll just have to besiege that for a turn. We've got another one here. Level 2 Interrogator means we can first interrogate, get some experience, and then execute. We have another retinue of renown, so we're going to get them in our army, and it'll hopefully help us to repel Malegor and then destroy him once and for all. Just focus on your economy, public order, anything you can, but just don't build absolutely everything because you need your money to keep your military afloat. We'll hopefully get a lot of money next turn when we hunt these guys down. Last up in Tralinia, we have the ability to build walls here, and we're absolutely going to. Around this time, we could hold off another turn, but in other runs I've seen Carin does quite well. You will want those walls, you'll want everything you can to keep them off you. Turn 14, and as predicted, the rats came out to play. We didn't get any replenishment over that end turn, but that's okay. We're going to jump out, swinging, and we can take them. And on the battlefield, we'll be backing right up into this corner against this chasm here because we are outnumbered. Let's all aim at Queek. Let's all shoot Queek.
It shall be done.
It's Queek captured. The rest of the fight should be easy. Okay. We lost a fair few units there, but that's okay. That's okay. Alright, so we are interrogating Queek Headtaker for a bit of fun. We could wound him, but we'll keep him off the field. It'll make these guys easier to deal with. In reaction to this, I'm actually going to get full out lightning strike so we can separate the army into 3 separate pieces. And yeah, let's take these guys apart one by one. We'll take the replenishment. And we will take the labor again. Okay, we need to take out the floating village, so again, just make sure you land in your own terrain because we need any replenishment, and more importantly, not attrition. Get yourself another couple of spearmen. Eltharion River archer unit. We have Malegor, he's certainly coming here. We've got a very meager garrison and a pretty beat up stack, so let's get 2 more archers. We won't get to hire them this turn, but we'll have them for next turn, and we can instead hire a couple of regiments of renown to keep ourselves afloat. We'll need to lower upkeep, so we can achieve that by just combining some injured units. Alright. And finally, it's time to take Saphery. Elthariel's being an excellent friend, and we will capture the settlements. We can combine these units over. And that is Saphery destroyed. So in terms of Ulthuan, Ulthuan is now basically secured. But what we need to do is now worry about Nakari. So there's 2 ways you can go about him. You can either go through the gates here and attack him through this way, or you can come up through this way. It takes roughly the same amount of time to get there, but it's probably best to come up and defend Yvresse. Turn 15, the floating village is completely unarmed, and we are just going to take it. Easy turn for Eltharion, we will occupy that. We're more occupying this for the replenishment. It is going to rebel. It's fine if it does, honestly. Build the public order building in the capital, And coming over here, we do have a issue with, of course, Malegor attacking. I would not expect Auto Resolve to give it to me. I'm just going to do it. And that is them destroyed. Okay, so that's our second major hurdle destroyed. He's still sitting at 3, but we're in a position we can go and invade him now. It would have been nice to have taken Necron this turn. Over in Yvresse, we have just enough money to get a tier 3 upgrade, and that will dry us out, but that's okay. Turn 16. Okay, the Death Gorge. We've built our Eltharion Reavers, so we can destroy that. And we'll put the noble building there. Just march normally, and there's no attrition at this point, so that's quite nice. So we'll just head there, and that will give them no more settlements, and we should be able to wipe them from there. Defensive alliance, and of course we will take it. So keep on marching up this way. It looks like Nakari is certainly coming sooner than later, and we'll go and defend Tralinia with this army here, and we can then return to Tor of Yvresse should they besiege that instead. Over to Eltharion, and he is now good to take Morgrime. And now this is the northmost fortress we want to take, and then once we've taken these, we can just wall this up and then focus on Scrag the Slaughterer. Always get that public order building in the capital, and I'm not going to hold on to these just yet. I'm not going to upgrade them. I'm not sure how stable they really are. We've now got Thorek on our border, so I'm all for that. He's going to be an excellent ally. He hates us, and he's probably really rich. Also, I don't have the money to give to him. Normally I'd give him a couple of gifts, but we do have influence going at the Wurzaag, so let's go one more. I know that's a lot of influence, right? But this will get us a Dwarven ally. He can start building an outpost. Scarbrand is virtually destroyed. This is the only issue we have, and this is kind of our first objective, but it's coming full circle now. We've got a couple of options. We can stand here and try to recruit, but he's going to come after this army. Now we're almost at the edge of being stretched too thin. We've taken out most of our major enemies. Eltharion will be coming to the rescue very shortly. Turn 18. Red Fang's destroyed. Numis destroyed. Kalador destroyed. Jeez, what a turn. And you're telling me Khorne is still somehow hanging on. These guys are not going to let up. They'll be heading to this, so once again, going back to defend Gronti Mingol. Hire a couple more archers. Alright, we don't really have a choice. We need money, and we need to take Queek down, so this is how we're going to do it. Didn't realise that Scarbrand would be joining us here, but we can finish him off now, so let's do it. Alright, we will be culling them out. Alright, this will be a hard battle, but it's one we need to do. Alright guys, this video was getting way too long, so rather than retreading on similar tactics and going through a bunch of very long battles, I decided to actually pick up where I ended at the end of turn 21 and summarize the overall tactics of how we got here, and more importantly, what you will need to do next and those considerations. So let's just quickly summarize the donut first. We've managed to get Yvresse, and we've managed to get 2. If you're lucky, you might even get all of Saphery. You should always come down the bottom here because you will need to defend Tralinia. Around turn 19, Nakari will make his way down here, and he will certainly go for the weakest settlement. Until you have walls here, you will be dependent on having a lord here. But guess what? It's actually quite easy to defend as long as you use the garrison there, as well as your lovely lord here. She can pull it off with an army of only maybe 10 units, and then after that, you can start going on the counter-offensive. And here we are, we've moved up, and we're going to start taking Nakari settlements off of him. So this is basically in as good a position as it would have been if you just moved up here in the first place. But what else do we have? Well, look, we have all of this. And yes, it requires you to overdraw a bit. Yes, it requires some clinch battles, but man, that is absolutely worth it. So you start in the Southern Badlands, move your way down the Barrier Idols, but then stop off to destroy Malegor's Herdstone. He'll either go around turns 8 to 10, Wurzaag will declare war on you, and he'll want to go after Gronti Mingol, at which point you will need to raise a relief army, destroy his army, which destroys his balance of power, and you can march on a counter-offensive and start taking his settlements. Now, at this point, Malegor will either go up to destroy that relief army, or he'll want to go down here and take your newer holdings. So Eltharion will either be free because he goes after her, or he will maybe need to go and curtail Malegor. Though if Eltharion is free, he can really start to pillage and take all of these settlements. You want to take away Scarbrand's holdings, and once you get up here to Morheim, he'll basically have nothing left. Quick Headtaker is bound to declare war on you, and whilst I don't recommend prioritizing Blightwater, you kind of need to take it to eliminate Queek. Now, this final settlement here, if you want an easier time, just burn it to the ground. don't have your presence here attracting more heat. Though if you are a bit more bombastic and want to do it, then you can. We've got friendly Bretonnians, we've got very, very friendly Tomb Kings, we've got a very, very friendly dwarf here. Well, he needs some influence, but this is a border that we don't have to worry about. It's trustworthy, just don't military ally or defensive ally. Let them handle their stuff, right? But what you have is fortress. We have a capital here, and we have a capital here at Ekron. So even if you don't move any further north than this, right, you have a amazingly well defended network here. Of course, we do want to take these guys out. They only have one settlement left. So in this run, we have eliminated Scarbrand, Malegor, Wurzaag, Queek, Headtaker has one settlement left, and we have Nakari on the ropes retreating. So we're in a really great position. I hope this does help you out, because this was a ball ache of a fucking run to make. There was so many things that can go wrong in those early stages, but please bear with it. It's a blast when you get it rolling, and I wish you all the best with your runs. This is Eltharion Plot Armor. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.